Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to day 11. We are crossing the halfway point, and I am continuing to feel the honor and gratitude for all of you for saying yes to this. It's been such an incredible journey for me to allow to allow these 21 days to birth this the wisdom and the content that's coming through and the guidance that's coming through for me, for you, for us. And I'm on the journey with you. As I mentioned a couple of times, I've gone through a lot in these last 11 days. Some really big things that have happened in my life, some tough things, some amazing, beautiful things, and that is life. And when we can be with it all and receive it all and have the capacity to hold it all, that's where we become both, we step into the greatness and the magnificence of who we are, and the things that we desire to experience in life come more naturally to us. I am going to take today to do a bit of a recap, weaving together the things that we've talked about up until this point. I find for myself that's really helpful when I put all the pieces together. My mind really likes that. So I am going to do that today. We started off, of course, on the new moon and anchored in the newness of that, the possibility, the freshness, the blank slate. I invited you at that point in time to really think about your intentions for the 21 days, allowing it to evolve, of course, in time. And at the same time, it's extremely helpful for us to, as we're going through life, be really clear about what is it that we desire. Often in life, we go through our days, we go through our weeks, we go through our years reacting. We have senses of what we desire, but we react and respond to what life presents to us. Having that clarity of what we truly desire is extremely helpful in activating, receiving, allowing what we desire to come into our life. When we are more focused on it, when we bring it into the forefront, when we energetically calibrate to the desire, it becomes a more prevalent force in our life. And as I mentioned in one of the audios, I have come to truly believe that the desires are not random. They are their own life forces that are tapping us on our shoulder from our higher self, our spirit, our expanded self, saying, hey, this is what's possible for you. And this, through this desire, is the next chapter of your evolution. I truly also have come to believe that everything that we desire, everything that we move through, is for the evolution, for the expansion of our spirit, of our soul, of our becoming, of our magnificence. And so as we get clarity on the desires, we allow ourselves to see them as these taps and nudges on our shoulder from the soul saying, hey, this is what's possible. Hey, why not go in this direction? And we listen to that and we become aware of it and we say, okay, yes, this is what I desire. Let's start moving towards that. Let's anchor it in. Let's really be with the intention, be with the desire, spend time contemplating it, connecting with it energetically. It brings it into our life and it becomes the path for the evolution. So whether you are focusing on a challenge, something that's feeling really uncomfortable for you, and you're looking for relief or resolution on that, or whether you are seeking clarity, you're having confusion about why things are happening, how things can happen, and you're seeking that clarity and that wisdom, or whether you have something that you would like to birth, some kind of sacred blueprint that you would like to birth onto the planet in terms of a new creation, a new experience in your life, or something even bigger for the planet. Whether it can be any of those or all of those, it could be a pain point, it can be confusion, it can be something that you're looking to birth. All of it is this beautiful invitation into this journey of you as this spirit, as this soul on having a human experience. We talked also about the receiving sequence. So we sometimes have this concept of manifesting being, let me place an order out into the universe and have it delivered to me. I desire to have this beautiful, romantic, hot man come into my life. And so I place the order out and here he shows up on my doorstep, when in fact, the manifestation sequence is more about receiving steps, if you will, or chapters along the way to the eventual arrival at your final destination for the desire, for the intention. So as you get clear about your intentions and your desires and you focus on it and you energetically calibrate to it, life will begin to present to you the things, the experiences, the people, the situations, the conversations that will allow you to evolve into the person who can then receive that desire. The reason that we aren't currently living with the thing that we desire is because we're not yet evolved to be the person who can receive it, who can have it, who can hold it. And so because of that, we are now on a journey as we set the intention and hold it and continue to remind ourselves of what our journey is, what the intention is. Life then presents to us in every moment and every day and every week, the circumstances, the people, the situation, the conversations that invite us into that more expanded version of us. So seeing those situations not as stumbling blocks, not as misalignments, not as there's something wrong, but really having that broader, zoomed out vantage point of this is part of the journey, this is part of the process. It's a sequence. It's not an order receive. It's an order, it's a declare, and then there's all of these steps along the journey to the becoming of who you are, who you will become, that will then be the person to have, to hold, to receive what it is that you desire. We talked also about the fact that there's more to life than what we see. 99% of life we do not see, we do not hear, we do not experience through our physical senses, and that's scientifically proven. And so when we can contemplate that and consider what that 99% might be, that broader aspect of life, that broader aspect of us, begin to use your imagination to imagine what that is for you, both in terms of the unseen forces, the unseen realm, maybe the unseen beings. For some of us, it's guidance from beyond. For some of us, it's the elements of nature that we can't see. Also, the broader aspect of you. So that life force, that spirit, that soul that you can't see, you're not touching it like you touch your body, and yet it is the most expanded version of you. So as you go through your days, to really consider the unseen realm, allowing your imagination to consider and contemplate what that is for you. I truly believe it's different for all of us. And so we use the imagination to tap into our own knowing, because it's not something that's familiar to us. It's not something that we can study like we would in like a science. It requires our imagination to tap into. So we think sometimes that our imagination is this fantasy land, when in fact it's the access point. It's the access point to our knowledge, to our truth. So really considering that the unseen realm and that what that means to you, and what that and how you can start to begin to integrate that into your life. We also talked about how we did that process where we talked about how if we were to have everything we ever desired, so much of life would be completely wiped away. We would no longer have hope. We would no longer have curiosity or wonder or excitement or evolution or desire. There'd be no more mastery, no more celebrating. There'd be no more sense of satisfaction. And so as we go through challenges in life or things that feel uncomfortable, reminding ourselves that we wouldn't actually want to have it all right now. Allowing ourselves to feel the reverence and the beauty for the journey of life, for that human experience. We've come to a place in time where we are so wired for instant gratification that we've lost the ability to really deeply appreciate and have reverence for the human experience. Again, so when we're going through tough times, or even when we're going through celebrations and happy times, reminding ourselves to really anchor in the reverence for life. I talked about how I saw this journey being in three components. So we have the nervous system regulation. So when we feel overwhelmed, when we feel stretched, we feel frazzled, we feel unregulated, we feel burnt out, doing those processes that allow us to regulate our nervous system. There are things we can do in the moment. As I'm at work, I'll do breathing exercises. No one knows what I'm doing. There's different types of tapping you can do. Finding that the tools and techniques and processes that can regulate your nervous system. Sometimes it's longer sessions. So maybe you'll sit down for an hour and a half or 2 hours, or incorporating it into your life where you can find those tools and techniques to regulate your nervous system. And so as we're going through the journey towards our desires and intentions, sometimes we're just feeling very stretched and overwhelmed, and our system just requires that regulation. The other component was emotional intelligence. So when we experience big, uncomfortable emotions, having the wisdom to know how to be with those feelings. If we're feeling really sad about something, if we're grieving something, it's important to grieve. And we've, again, come to this place and time in life where we are kind of wired to think that any discomfort, any uncomfortable emotion is meaning that there's something wrong, when in fact it is part of that human experience. So when you're feeling sad, allow yourself to feel sad, allow yourself to cry, allow yourself to just be in those emotions, and be very mindful of the stories. Where are we telling ourselves, oh, there's something wrong. There's something wrong with me. There's something wrong with this situation. I shouldn't be feeling sad. When in fact, sadness is a beautiful part of our human experience, as an example. So where are we avoiding the feelings? Where are we trying to numb ourselves, trying to hide from the feelings? Because that keeps us really, really small. It keeps us away from what we truly desire, because energetically we can't hold it when we can't experience the emotions. So there's the nervous system regulation, and then there's the emotional intelligence, and then there's the energetic calibration, the energetic creation. And we're starting to play with that a little bit, learning how to align with, tune into the energetics of what it is that we desire. In my experience, that's been my path to then realize, receive, experience my desire, is through the energetic calibration, the energetic creation of it. I talked a lot about the observer and how that's been such a critical piece for me, going back 20 years, strengthening that aspect of you that can notice what's happening in your life at the time that it's happening. There's you living the experience, and then there's that part of you that can, when you anchor this in, observe what's happening while you're living it. And as you strengthen that, and as you start to live from that perspective of I'm living and I'm observing, you reclaim your power. It gives you the power to then not respond and react to everything in life, but to choose your response. Okay, this is happening. I'm observing what's happening. I'm observing my feelings here. What's available to me? Does this require celebration? Does this require nervous system regulation? Does this require emotional intelligence? Does this require me being with the feelings? Is this a point in time where I can re-clarify my desires? Often when I'm observing, I will use uncomfortable emotions to really ask myself, okay, what is it that I truly desire here? What if I could have it all my way, what would I experience instead? And I do that from the observer, because I'm not just reacting and resisting to life. I am observing it, and now I'm reclaiming my power to say, okay, what is it that I would like to desire instead? And that can create a new desire, a new intention. It can refine desires or intentions that I already have. Strengthening that observer. We talked about fear. We talked about how fear in and of itself produces more fear. And it's disguised as, when we're afraid, it's disguised as this mechanism to protect us and to keep us safe, when in fact it's keeping us away from our freedom. It's this paradox in life. There are valid fears that we want to listen to. If I'm being chased by a predator, I am afraid, I need to protect myself. But we have come to a point where we are living in a lot of fear a lot of the time when it's not required. We are evolving, we are moving into new states of being that feel uncomfortable for our system. And so our body reacts with fear, our mind reacts with fear. Fear is activated in our system in an effort to, like, let's just keep everything the same. We don't want to go out of what it's comfortable for us. And so there's this amphibian fear reaction that happens within our system. And so when we become aware of that, we can really, again, through the observer, start to notice, am I actually afraid because there's something that I should be protecting myself from here? Or is this just an alert that I'm moving into a new state of being that is unknown, that is unfamiliar, and therefore my fear is activated trying to protect me, but it's actually keeping me from my freedom. And we talked 2 days ago about the frequency of expectation. So stepping a little bit more into energetics, that I'm going to talk about this in the coming days as well. As we learn how to tune into the energetic frequencies of states of being, of emotions, this is where we become the creators of our life. The frequency of expectation, of self-trust, of conviction is the most powerful state to be in when we're moving towards our desires, our intentions. So learning how to access it, it requires a practice if it's something that we haven't been doing before. What does expectation feel like? Where is it that I already expect things to happen, and how can I use those situations in life to access the energy of the expectation? Expectation is just one state of being. It's just one frequency, and there's an infinite number of them. So we're using this as one example to start with. Another energy that I've played with a lot over the last 20 years is ease. I live with so much ease in my life because it's something that I consciously chose to activate. It's an energetic frequency that I chose to calibrate to years ago, and I've continued to access it. It's become part of my wiring, if you will, because I've accessed it so much. And it's a choice that I made to activate it. When we truly want to create in our life, when we want to create our desires, our intentions, learning how to access the energy of expectation is critical because it creates that clear signal. So when you think about frequencies and you think about there's distortion, there's clarity, expectation anchors in the clarity. So it's a really important frequency for us to tune into. And we had a really beautiful process where we started to tune into the wisdom of our body. We are receiving guidance all day, every day, and every moment. Guidance from the unseen realm, guidance from our higher self, from our expanded self, guidance from our heart, intelligence from our body. And it's an art, it's a skill to be able to learn how to tune into that. We rely so heavily on our mind, and our mind is beautiful and it's limited. And there's a subtle intelligence that's available to us in all these different aspects of us that we can learn to tune into. So inviting us to really honor the body, to recognize it, to appreciate it, and to let it know that we're listening, we're listening, we're listening, we're listening. It responds. I can feel it in my body right now as I'm saying that. It's like, oh yes, thank you for listening. Moving your body, moving air through your body is a really great way to activate it. So if you're somebody who goes to the gym or who runs or who goes for walks, in those moments, if you can take moments to really acknowledge your body, let it know that you're with it, you're noticing it, you're appreciating it, and you're listening to it. You don't necessarily receive clear guidance in the moment. I don't. Some people do. But what happens is it begins to activate this willingness to communicate more clearly, and you'll start to have, well, this is my experience, start to have drops of downloads. So the more that I acknowledge and my willingness to hear and listen to my body, the more guidance I become aware of as I go through my day. So we're going to continue to explore all of these concepts, and especially the energetics, and especially tuning into that subtle intelligence. We'll do some more interaction with our heart, with our body, with our expanded spirit. Inviting you today to, there's a lot of concepts there, to really think about one or two that you can anchor in through the day, that you can just choose in this moment to say, okay, I'm going to remind myself of this, whether it's my desires and what they mean, whether it's my body, whether it's the observer, whether it's the expanded life force, the unseen realm, any of that or all of that. Inviting you to choose one or two that you would like to continue to remind yourself as you go through your day today. And I will talk to you tomorrow. So much love. I really appreciate all of you. Thank you.